Save for a couple of shuttle services, every single regular train service on the New York City Subway goes to Manhattan at some point along its route, except for one. Let's take the G train from Brooklyn to Queens, and get ready because it'll be on some of the newest train cars on the subway. Howdy y'all, welcome back. I'm on Smith Street in Brooklyn, New York. I'll be getting the G train subway, which is an interesting line because it doesn't go to Manhattan. It just goes from Brooklyn to Queens. And I gotta go to Queens, so let's go get on the G train, I suppose. Gonna go down to Bergen Street Station. And again, get the G train, which should be here in a couple minutes. So it's a pretty simple two-platform station. Outer platforms, train is approaching though. The 21-stop G train, which runs 24 hours a day, starts at Church Avenue in Brooklyn, interlining with the F train, which continues south from here all the way to Coney Island. The G train winds its way through this part of Brooklyn, serving notable stations like 4th Avenue 9th Street, where you can change to the R train, and Smith 9th Streets, the tallest station on the New York subway. I made a video covering the station at Smith and 9th Streets a while back, so feel free to check that out after this if you want more New York content. Eventually, the G train serves Bergen Street, where I'll be boarding a Queens-bound train heading north. The G train splits off from the F train here before stopping at Hoyt-Schermerhorn with an interchange to the A and C trains. After this, the G train follows its own unique trackage along the I&D Brooklyn-Queens Crosstown line towards Queens, with an interchange to the L train at Metropolitan Avenue. A few stops after that, the G train enters Queens before terminating at Court Square, with a connection available to the E, F, and 7 trains. I'll be riding the train all the way to this last stop, and then changing to the 7. We didn't have to wait too long for our train, and fortunately for us, it was an open gangway R211T train from the batch that began entering service in 2024. I was quite excited to try some of the very newest cars on the subway, and walk-through trains at that, with connected cars greatly improving capacity as crowds are more easily able to spread out throughout the whole train. After just a few moments, we passed Hoyt-Schermerhorn and enter a part of the line only served by the G train.
Stand clear of the closing door, please.
Eventually, I tried walking around the train through the open gangways because, well, I could. And the wayfinding on board was really great. The next stop screens were large and easy to read, and the digital line diagrams above the doors were great. I never really thought about it before hopping on board, but the G train is a crosstown local service. It's just a crosstown that doesn't serve Manhattan. Many of the stations along the line look similar, presumably because they opened around the same time. The train started in 1933 as the double G train from Queens Plaza to Nassau Avenue, with the rest of the line opening in 1937 down to Bergen Street, connecting onto a pre-existing subway line before terminating further south in Brooklyn. The double G served roughly the same route, with periods where it was extended further or retruncated, and even seeing special service for the 1939 to 1940 and 1964 World's Fairs. But in 1985 it was renamed to just the G train, and there were some more terminus extensions and truncations of regular service on both ends of the line where the G interlined with other services, settling on its current route with regular service unchanged since 2010, with the route going from Church Avenue on the G and F trains in Brooklyn up to Court Square in Queens. Train consist lengths were also changed throughout the train's history, and our train was a shorter train, the stopping position of which you can see by signs on the station platforms. Alright, as you can see behind me, we're approaching Greenpoint Avenue, the last station in Brooklyn before we cross into Queens. It's up there somewhere. Once we leave Greenpoint Avenue, we cross from Brooklyn into Queens without much fanfare, though the announcements on board do change from saying it was a Queens-bound G train to a Court Square-bound G train.
This is a Court Square bound G train. The next and last stop is Court Square.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Maybe it's just me, but the G train feels a lot faster than a lot of the Manhattan subway lines. Not sure if it's construction related, but hey, I'm not complaining. Overall, these new trains, it's nice, plastic look at seating. Windows are a little smaller, but I guess it's okay. They actually have screens for ads.
This is an accessible station. The elevator is at the center of the platform.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Overall, I really like these new trains. I was actually really pleasantly, surprised. I'm not one to really love modern rolling stock. I like the historical stuff, but really, it looks really nice, really attractive livery. This one's leaving in a few minutes, but yeah, we're at Court Square. Gonna change to the 7. But yeah, that was, most of the G train. After arriving at Court Square, we changed from the underground G train to the elevated 7 train to go one stop north to Queensboro Plaza. Fortunately, the transfer is via escalator and completely inside fare control. This is very modern. I'm actually a little surprised. We're now above ground, transferring to an elevated line onto the 7, which is pulling in. So I guess this is just a bonus portion of the video at this point, but the 7 train through this part of Queens is really cool, with great nighttime views of the surrounding skyline. And of course, I did some rail fanning at Queensboro Plaza, where 7 trains from Manhattan pull into the elevated station with a backdrop of Manhattan skyscrapers across the East River. So anyway, that was a recap of my trip on the G train. It's a neat service, and it's cool that it connects Brooklyn and Queens with each other directly without the need to go via Manhattan. I would say it would be nice if the G went further into Queens like it did in the past, with better connections to trains other than the 7, but I get that New York City has to worry about capacity because they just have so many trains. But overall, I'd say the G train was quite a pleasant service. Unfortunately, only a small handful of its 21 stations are wheelchair accessible and meet accessibility standards, which is largely just a result, I think, of how old this line is. But regardless, I still enjoyed my journey on the G train, and I'd say it'd be cool to check out if you want to see what a subway service that doesn't go to Manhattan is like, though if you're a tourist, I'm not sure how much use you'll get out of the G train. Let me know in the comments if you've been on the G train before, and like and or subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one.